A major hawks operation has led to a significant number of arrests in a far-reaching corruption case involving the Mpumalanga Department of Education. Initially targeting 41 individuals, the hawks have arrested dozens of suspects across 4 provinces. As of Monday, 33 suspects had appeared in the Nelspruit Magistrate's Court on charges of fraud, corruption and money laundering. Those arrested include a mix of government officials and service providers. Specifically, reports indicate that 9 government officials, 14 service providers and 4 private individuals are among those facing charges. The alleged scheme is said to have defrauded the department of an estimated 113 to 114 million rand. The hawks have indicated that the investigation is ongoing and more arrests are possible as they continue to track down the remaining suspects implicated in the multi-million rand scandal. So for more then, let's go to Lieutenant Colonel Magonseni Nkosi, who is the spokesperson of the hawks in Mpumalanga. Good afternoon to you and thank you for your time, Lieutenant Colonel. So it says something that this is an operation that started unfolding while we were on air last weekend. And at that scale, you had only arrested 1 person, but had signaled that you have scores of people that you are pursuing in that takedown on Sunday. Give us an update of how many people eventually were netted and what's this in connection with?
Thank you very much and good afternoon to your viewers at home. Initially, we had 41 people that were targeted in our operation, but the total number of people who are alive, there were 40. We managed to get 41 J50s. As of Monday, we managed to arrest 3 people who attended the court on Monday. But as we are speaking now, we managed to reach our target because 40 of the wanted suspects or 40 of the people that we had warrant of arrest against have been arrested and appeared in court. Out of the 40 people that appeared in court, that's the total number of the people that wanted. I can say they were granted bail by the court on different days. 3 of them were granted 5,000 rand bail. That includes 2 students and 1 wheelchair-bound woman. Then another 3 were granted 20,000 rand bail and 1 was granted 30,000 rand bail. The rest of the people were granted 50,000 rand bail per person.
So, I mean, in its totality, I think I saw you giving a figure of some 1.6 million rand if you put all of those figures for bail together and you make one big sum. I think you said it comes up to about 1.6 million rand, that total sum. What's this in connection with, though, Colonel?
Firstly, I'd just like to respond to the total sum of bail that was paid. When we released the statement of 1.6 million, we're still running short of 2 suspects, of which we managed to arrest on Thursday and Friday. And now the total sum is more than 1.7 million.
Right.
For the bail that was granted to these people. The thing is, it started whereby there were some schools and education buildings which needed urgent renovation according to what we've got. And suspects were handpicked to give services or provide services to their schools. Some of the service providers did not do any job, but they were getting paid. Some of them rendered substandard services, and some of them were paid more than once. So when we followed up closely, we found that there are 10 departments officials were involved in the scandal, of which some of the senior people, like the acting head of department by then, the directors, chief directors, project coordinators, economic analysts and bookkeepers were part of the scandal. And it involved a number of service providers. Some of the service providers are directed by 2 pastors, of which they were also arrested. And the rest are service providers. In those service providers, there are core directors, of which there are, just like the 3 kids that I've mentioned, that there were 2 kids that were released on 5,000 rand bail, and one of the students was given 50,000 rand paid. Reason being, he was a sole director of that company.
So what was the role specifically of the government officials? Because from the list that you give, an acting HOD, this is the head of the administration. This is the person who's supposed to be giving the line of command on how to govern properly and exercise good governance and deliver services. But lo and behold, here we are. This person is one of those that are mentioned. But also you mentioned directors, chief directors, and other people within the governmental value chain, a betrayal of trust, really, of the public. So what was their role specifically in what reads like something of a syndicate?
Actually, they identify a need of which we are not sure whether it was a real need or it was just orchestrated to benefit them. They identify the need and they have to appoint some service providers. The lower people have to do the paperwork, and the seniors have to approve, sign the documents. And if you are a head of department, you are a chief director, before you can sign a document, you have to verify if that specific service provider is going to render the expected service. You cannot just sign for the issuing of a tender without knowing the need. These people were then involved in that one. And worst part of it is that we're talking about the schools here. We're talking about the future of our kids, of which, if ever the weather condition is not right, they'll end up not attending schools due to bad weather conditions. And if you check all these people who have been arrested, their kids are in the well-resourced schools. That means they are depriving the most needy instead of maybe benefiting. They were not assisting us. They just squandered the government funds.
So you've got 40 people that you've now arrested, and they're appearing in court at various stages, the bail application and other further processes. Is this everyone that you've been looking for, or are there still more people that you are still trying to locate, or that you will add to those that you would want to have charged?
As I've mentioned earlier on, that we had 41 warrant of arrests. We managed to arrest 40. The one person that was not arrested passed on before we can execute our operation. It's not after maybe they've heard that we want the person. He passed on before we execute the operation. So we've got 100% arrest on the people that we wanted to arrest, or that are supposed to answer on their criminal activities.
All right. Lastly, Colonel, what about the work to try and recover assets? I know that that's not really your domain and forte. There you work with the NPA, the SIU, and others. Is that work on the go to help assets that may need to be frozen, assets that may need to be recovered as part of criminal proceeds?
Within the Hawks, we have got the asset investigators, of which they're going to handle that issue as soon as the court gives the go-ahead. Then we're working with the NPA Asset Forfeiture Unit and the other departments so that we will evaluate which things can be frozen in order to recover the damage that was caused. But that solely rests upon the court. If the court guides us to do that, then we'll start with our investigation. For now, these people are still suspects, or they're still accused. We need to prove the case, as we are sure that we're going to prove the case 100%. After we prove the case and they've been found guilty, I think some of their assets will be forfeited, but I cannot guarantee that one. Secondly, we will monitor their movement from now on, because some of them, they know that they've been arrested. They might try to sell some of the assets. That one is under a microscope. We are looking at that one, even if people can try to do that, but we will be able to repossess, because now whatever they've got is attached, according to our understanding, to the criminal activities.
All right.
So we're monitoring that one, and this will be if we can, will be able to get something from it.
All right. Let's leave it there for this afternoon. I've got to thank you for your time. That's Lieutenant Colonel Magonseni Nkosi, spokesperson of the Hawks out in Mpumalanga, reporting on that major operation that they've been undertaking in the last few days. In the next few minutes, we'll focus on what transpired at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, delving into the testimonies that were delivered, Shadrach Sibia, but also one of the officials in the city of Egoruleni who also testified.